Good morning, friends. The season of final registration under Section 12A(b) of the Income Tax Act for a period of 5 years is going on nowadays, and the notices, clarifications and passing of approval or rejection orders are at its peak. Are you too waiting for the notice or the order against the application filed by you in Form 10AB? I am Ashish Agarwal from Team NGO Enabler, and today in this video I will be discussing the applicability of filing Form 10AB, means when you need to file Form 10AB, because still there is a lot of confusion and misconceptions going on regarding this issue. Also, I will cover the questionnaire which is being issued by the department after the form is filed to seek more information and documents about the organization. So, let's begin. First and foremost, let's see when you need to file Form 10AB. Let me make it very clear. Very clear. The ones who have taken the provisional registration, the validity of which is 3 years, are under the impression that they need to file it 6 months before the expiry of the provisional registration. No, not at all. The provision says an organization need to apply for final registration within 6 months of the commencement of activities or expiry of provisional registration, whichever is earlier. I repeat, the provision clearly says an organization need to apply for final registration within 6 months from the commencement of the activities or the expiry of the provisional registration, whichever is earlier. So friends, if you have taken provisional registration, it's not only the validity of the provisional certificate, but also the commencement of the activity which needs to be considered for filing of Form 10AB. Now, there can be two types of organization applying for Form 10AB. First, those who are into the charitable activities for many years, established years ago, but has decided to take the 12A registration now. So, they must have already applied for provisional registration after the new provisions came in and must have already got the certificate. For such type of organizations, since the activities are going on from years already, they should apply for final registration as soon as they receive the provisional certificate. Second are those type of organizations who are newly established and have applied for provisional registration. Such organizations sometimes begin their activities immediately or sometimes even later. For such type of organizations, the date of commencement is very important. If they start before the expiry of the provisional certificate, they should apply for the final one within 6 months of the starting of their activities and should not wait for the expiry of provisional registration. Now, as I have mentioned in my earlier videos regarding the renewal of registrations, at the time of granting provisional certificate, no inquiry shall be conducted, but while granting the final one, the commissioners have been given the authority to call for any such documents, details or records which shall be required in order to satisfy themselves before passing an approval order. This is the background why such questionnaires are being issued against each filing of Form 10AB. So, let's move on to see what exactly the authorities are seeking or looking for before granting the approvals. Though the questionnaire is differing from state to state, but most of the requirements remain same. First and foremost is the activity report and the projected activity report. I repeat, first and foremost what they are asking in the questionnaire is the activity report and the projected activity report. This, in our opinion, is the vital of all documents because it's the nature of activities based on which the Commissioner of Income Tax shall be able to decide whether the organization is really charitable or religious in nature, falling within the ambit of section 2 subsection 15 of the Act, and have an intention to carry out such objects and activities which are aligned with the definition of charitable activities. Friends, project report, annual report, activity report are almost the same, and any one of them is required to be produced before the relevant authority. So basically, they are not only focusing on the activities already done in past, but also what the organization is planning to conduct in future, because of which they are asking for the projected activity report. Secondly, they are asking for various undertakings. Undertaking regarding compliance with all the statutory laws applicable to the organization, including the Income Tax Act. Undertaking that there is no infringement of the provisions laid down in section 2 subsection 15 of the Act. Undertaking that no direct or indirect benefit is being inured by the trustees or their relatives or any specified persons falling under the ambit of section 13 subsection 3 of the Income Tax Act, or not violated the provisions of section 13 subsection 1 clause C of the Income Tax Act, and also that no business undertakings is held by the organization. So these undertakings and declarations have to be given usually on the letterhead of the organization, which makes it more authentic. Next comes the date of commencement of activities and the documents to support that the activity has actually started from the said date. Here, in our opinion, for NGOs already existing for years, can mention the date of formation itself as the date of commencement and attach the copy of their first audit report or accounts to support the same. Then the copy of the provisional certificate of section 12A or 80G issued in form 10AC is required to be enclosed. The copy of the trust deed or the memorandum of association and the bylaws, the certificate of registration under various acts such as FCRA, Dapan portal of Niti Aayog, Trust Act or Societies Act or the Companies Act is also required to be enclosed. Next is the copy of the audit reports along with the computation of income for the last 3 financial years or since inception, whichever is less, is also asked for. Next, the details of expenditure incurred in major areas of activities for the last 3 financial years or since inception, whichever is less, is also required to be submitted. You can separately draft the same in an Excel year-wise or give reference to the audit report if the report clearly reflects the area and the nature of expenditure. Then a type of confirmation is being asked on the following: whether the organization is religious in nature, whether any objects are of commercial nature or with profit intent, and whether the objects are for any particular religious community or caste. If any of these responses are yes, the related clause number from the deed or memorandum of association has to be mentioned. In our opinion, in fact, the organization, while preparing the submission, should quote the clauses which confirms that none of the above are true, which will provide affirmation that actually the organization is existent for the charitable purposes and open to all without any discrimination. Yes, of course, the organization can be religious, but in that case, registration under section 80G might not be granted. Next, the organization need to submit the identity proofs of the main managing trustees, directors, president or secretary. Here, in our opinion, you can submit the identity proof of any one of them. Suppose if they require for all the board of trustees or the members or directors, they will again issue a notice for the same. So, nothing to worry about. Apart from above, the authorities are specifically looking for the irrevocability clause in the trust deed, where the organization is a registered trust, and the dissolution clause in case of the society or the company in the memorandum of association. If you remember, in Form 10A and 10AB, there is a separate point for irrevocability. In our opinion, these points should match with what has been mentioned in the relevant state acts. I repeat, the points related to irrevocability and the dissolution should match with what has been mentioned in the relevant state acts. Usually, you will find mentioned that on dissolution, the organization will be handed over to another charitable organization having similar objects and registrations under Section 12A and 80G, along with the decision-making process to dissolve the organization. Then in the questionnaire, it has been asked to submit the year-wise list of donations received and given, both above rupees 10,000, which should include even the corpus donations. Now, what details you need to submit? You need to provide the name of the donor, the address, amount, and the mode of donation. This too has to be given for previous 3 financial years or since inception, whichever is less. Another undertaking regarding the specified violation as mentioned under Section 12AB subsection 4 is also required to be furnished. Want to know what are those specified violations? You can check our video on key highlights of budget 2022 for NGOs and you will find the mention of the same. Click the I button on the screen. Next, the details of bank accounts have been asked, where the account number, IFSC and the nature of account can be mentioned. Alternatively, in some notices, they have asked to enclose the bank statements as well. So, accordingly, you need to do so. In some states, the no objection certificate from the owner of the premises along with the proof of his or her ownership is also being asked, where the property is not owned by the organization in its name. Lastly, the organization is being asked to submit the year-wise total receipts and surplus or deficit as per the audited annual accounts. Remember, the submission has to be given in the same chronological order as the questions are listed in the notice, properly numbered. Even if any information is nil or not applicable, the same may be mentioned. Hopefully, if all the documents are found to the satisfaction of the relevant authority along with your submission, the approval orders are being passed. So, this is all for today. I hope this video will be quite useful and relevant for you to prepare the submission and the documents ahead of receiving the notice. For more such updates and tutorials, keep tuned to our channel. Don't forget to subscribe it and put your notifications on. You can also follow us on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram and LinkedIn. Thank you.